Hey everybody, and welcome to your Indie Snapshot for today. Today, we're taking a look at a game by Wolfire Games that was created for the 7-day FPS challenge to experiment with gun control, uncensored storytelling, I think, and randomized level generation. And that game is called Receiver. Receiver is really kind of unique in what it attempts to do in its presentation and in its overall gameplay mechanics. So what you see before you is the game. This is straight up the game. I'm going to hit a question mark. Actually, I'm going to hold down the question mark button just to bring up all the tutorials. And the game is all about getting through these randomized levels, collecting these cassette tapes, and learning about the kind of complex you're in and what's going on here. But the story itself is really hard to get to because of the gameplay mechanics themselves. So, we're in first-person mode, as you can see. And actually, I'm going to be bringing up the mouse sensitivity just a little bit. There we go. That feels a little bit better. And we are in first-person mode, obviously. But, like I said, this was created for a 7-day first-person challenge. So, we have a gun. The gun that's given to you is one of, from what I've been able to tell, 3 guns that are randomly given to you. And if you hold the right button, the right mouse button, you bring it up. The unique and the selling point of this game is the way the gun controls. In most other first-person shooters, you aim, you click, you fire, you hit R to reload. The actual gameplay mechanics are all about gun control, so it's not so easy. So if I want, I can hit E to open up the gun, see that I have 3 bullets missing. To insert a bullet, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, I tap Z. And then I can hit R to return the cylinder. Every moving part of the gun has its own button assigned to it. In order to reload correctly, you need to know, or at least very attempt to remember, or at least attempt to know, what those buttons are and how the gun works. If you don't, well, you can hold down or pop open the little help menu and go by what's being highlighted. So, for instance, if I fire a gun, it'll automatically tell me, hey, you might want to hit E, then put a bullet in, then put a bullet in, extract the casing, hold down V. You can just empty everything out if you so choose. And then I can pick up the ones that aren't empty. And then I can hit Z, 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 hit R, and there you go, got a full gun again. And this is the easiest gun to control. So you can see the most difficult part about this game isn't the gameplay mechanics of the moving and the shooting part, it's the reloading part and acting under pressure, especially when 1 or 2 bullets kills you. Now, all you're dealing with are hover drones and stationary turrets, but I will tell you right now, it is hard as balls to frickin' get past this. So, let's play a little bit. We'll show off some of the gameplay. There's actually a turret right there. If I hold down C, if I press C, I can crouch. Whoa! Gotta be careful. 2, and I'm already dead. As you can see, difficult. So let's see what gun we get in the next load up. It automatically loads you up. So we're gonna be getting one of my favorite guns. There we go. So let's pull back, just check the ammo, everything's inside, there we go. So the controls, the very selling point of this game is the controls, obviously. And the controls actually work quite well. I mean, the hard part, and what makes this game difficult, obviously, and what got this game a lot of attention, is the controls of the game. Everything else in the game, for that matter, outside of the controls, though, is, in my opinion, relatively lacking. Let's see if we can get a little bit further. The design layouts are, like I said, the levels are randomized, but so much to the point that I get lost really, really easily. And these guys are going to come and pretty much wreck me. Oh my god. These things scare me because they beep and they make me jump every single time. They're probably right there. Alright, we got one. Wow, that's surprising. I know there's one more. Where is he? Oh, hey. There we go. We got him. Holy crap, we got him. Alright, so we got these guys. We got shell casings on the ground after that, which we can pick up. No, we cannot pick up. Anyway, so everything else in the game, in my opinion, is relatively lacking. Now, granted, the game's only going to be $5 at max price. It's $4 right now. But I feel like... Oh, and ammo is minute, by the way. Is limited. You have to get ammo around the level as you go. And if you run out of ammo, you're pretty much screwed because you have no ways of defending yourself, which adds to the difficulty of the game. You need to make each shot count. Very, very important. So... as I was saying, every other part of the game is relatively lacking. The level design, though randomized, is exceptionally bland. I mean, everything is just not textured. It just looks like shapes kind of slapped together and put into the level. I mean, this is obviously a pillar, but, I mean, look at, there's no detail whatsoever to it. Every wall has some basic lighting, but nothing to blow your mind away. There's some ammo down here, which actually looks like a... oh, it's a cassette tape and some ammo. There we go. So we got a
If you recently started receiving, you may wonder why the training tapes are so important. Over the last several decades, your media has been slowly corrupted to be used against you. By feeding your mind a constant stream of damaging ideas, your view of reality has been warped to fit into a sinister agenda. How can one tape, listened to once, possibly have an impact on the face of a lifetime of accumulated deception? It can only have the smallest effect, but even that small effect can be built on. If you listen to that tape 100 times, you may notice a difference in how you feel. If you listen to the tape 1,000 times, you will be transformed, and if you listen to the tape 1,000,000 times, you will become more than human, an awake receiver. Listen to as many tapes as you can. Listen to them as often as you can.
That was a very long explanation. Sorry, I wanted to let that go because I hadn't gotten a tape before and I hadn't heard that before. Let's see if we can kill this turret off before we keep talking. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, so hey, we got something there. Anyway, as I was saying, the textures of the game are exceptionally lacking, especially for a game that did have some time, I believe, to add some extra development into it before it got released on Steam. I just feel like, whoa, there is a monster, not a monster, one of these little hover drones. There we go. Especially for a game that actually had some time to kind of flesh itself out, so to speak, before coming out on Steam. I don't even know if they did anything. The sound design is basic. There's not much to really say about the sound design, particularly because there's not much going on with it. There's just some gunfire, a couple of tape recordings apparently, and that's about it. So not much is really needed for sound design. The music itself serves its purpose, I guess. But overall, the game isn't that exciting to listen to. I mean, to look at, or listen to for that matter. Again, I mean, just look. This room is so bare. I mean, we're in a complex, supposedly, and it's obviously randomly generated, but I feel it's so random, it doesn't make any friggin' sense. I have no idea where I am, what I'm looking at. I'm obviously on the roof here, but the more you go into the level, just rooms don't make sense. You'd have no idea what they're supposed to be. I don't know what some of the structures in the room are, or any of the ideas behind what's driving some of the design decisions. Oh, man, I got tased. God. And the game is balls difficult, I'll tell you that much. But outside of that, and keeping that in mind, I think this is a bathroom. Okay, hey, look, something that actually makes sense. A tub, a toilet, and a bathroom. And what the hell is that? A flashlight? Really? Can I turn off the flashlight? Or is it just ever gonna be? It's always gonna be there. Okay, let's get this gun loaded up. So we got the lock slide full. We're good. All right, so we've got a flashlight and a gun held at the same time. Look at better technology than Doom 3. Anyway, so outside of the bathrooms, apparently nothing really makes sense. The levels are so randomly generated that I get lost incredibly easily. And that kind of bothers me, especially when I'm wandering around in what's kind of like a roguelike, in the sense that you die really easily, death is permanent, and you're out to collect these things to learn the story. I want to know where I've been, if I've been there. I want to recognize a room, but with the way everything's designed, I feel that that is nigh impossible to do. But keeping that in mind and realizing that, I am still having fun with the game. Here they come. The recoil on the game is ultra realistic, by the way. Obviously, everything in the game is actually ultra realistic, and I actually really like that. It basically tells me how bad of a shot I would be in real life, even if I had perfect steady aim as like a professional shooter. I would have a horrible shot, from what I can tell. But taking everything that I've said in mind that I don't like, the graphics are bland, the gun, though looking like a gun, isn't the most detailed things in the world. The music is serviceable, but nothing extraordinary. The controls are where the game's selling point at. Its gameplay mechanics are what it's trying to sell itself as. The intense gun control. And I will say that learning a gun and how it works and what, how each one reacts and how each one should reload, and being able to do that smoothly, without really needing to look specifically at the help at the right, like the help menu, which I've kind of been able to do with the revolver, is supremely satisfying. And for a $4 or $5 game, depending when you buy it, I'm actually having some fun with it. Again, it was made in 7 days, and obviously they didn't put much work into it other than that. I'm pretty sure they didn't. But keeping that in mind, oh god, these things are charge you and tase you. I'm pretty sure. And then their AI is definitely something to say is kind of pathetic. But keeping all of that in mind, it's still unique enough that I think it warrants some checking out, especially for all you FPS fans or Call of Duty fans. Should definitely check this game out to see, all the people who like shooting is, I don't want to say shooting is cool and kind of lump them into that situation, because obviously it's not. But I feel like everybody who's a big first-person shooter fan should definitely at least check this game out. It's definitely worth it for $4 or $5. You're definitely going to get your money's worth. And the gun controls are fun enough to warrant the purchase. I'm having, like I said, a good time with it. I want to grab these tapes. I still find myself even saying that from what all intents and purposes, the worlds make no sense. And it may very well be that the worlds actually make perfect sense. Can I actually not? There we go. I actually got him. Oh man, I missed every single time. It may very well be that the worlds make absolute perfect sense, but the lack of texture and detail make it seem like they don't, and that itself is what's confusing me. Okay, were they empty? Let's just do that, and then pull the 2 bullets that are not empty. I'm still a little confused on the way this works, the revolver works, but I'm getting used to it. Anyway, I still think it's worth playing with and experimenting with ever so slightly. It's definitely cool to play a game where the gun controls are ultra realistic. I'm all about games that are difficult, and realism is one of my favorite things in games. That's why I'm such a fan of Project Zomboid, I think, is that it attempts to take a fantastic kind of figment in like story.
If you are listening to this tape, it means you have survived the mind kill. Previous attempts to listen to this tape would have found it blank, but now it contains immediate instructions of your difficult path forward. This is the time that we have prepared for. Take a moment now to find your firearm.
I found it.
Some of you will be familiar with firearms from our training camp, but more recent receivers will have focused on Mindtech in order to survive the Mind Kill event. In either case, please take a moment to confirm that the firearm you have been issued is in working order and contains 1 full magazine. You have also been issued 1 tape deck with headphones and 2 AA batteries. Once you have checked your equipment, leave the safe cell. Keep moving and be careful. The threat will have dreamed kill drones near your location.
Interesting. I feel like I hear, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it depending on how the game volume is in my video, but I feel like I heard moaning in the background, and it's actually kind of frightened me a little bit. So the gameplay mechanics are definitely the selling point. I'm really, really liking them. I'm actually thoroughly enjoying them. And for what it is, it's actually pretty cool, and I like it. You can spin the cylinder. Oh, did I get it? I shot it. I got it that time. Let's pop it open. Let's pop open these casings again. Let's just insert some ammo, do that, and then pick up the bullets that are still remaining. So it's definitely fun. It's a little difficult. And by a little, I mean a lot. It's difficult. But it's definitely checking out. Because there's definitely a story here. And now that I'm on camera, I found a couple tapes, which is kind of cool. And there is definitely a story here, which I really like. Pull back the hammer. Perfect. Definitely worth checking out. All the guns, when you get them, are in random starting kind of conditions as well. So something kind of always have to check your gun to see what we're looking at. I mean, here we can even just inspect the chamber by holding on T and R, and we can check if there's a bullet in the chamber, and there is. So very kind of intricate controls, which really sells me. As I was saying, I'm a huge fan of realism in games. Maybe that's why I like Project Zomboid, because it attempts to add realism and I should probably crank up the mouse sensitivity. That's probably my problem. But it attempts to inject some realism into a fantastical situation, and I think that's why I love it so much. So I think, for that reason alone, I'm a big fan of the game. Oh my god, we have no ammo. There we go. So definitely worth checking out. It's $5. It's $5. It's called Receiver, and there's definitely some fun to be had here. Right now, if you get it during its release week, you can get it for $4. And if you have $4 to spare, frickin' hell, that's what, like 1 candy bar that you don't buy at at a gas station, or 2 candy bars you don't buy at a gas station, just pick up Receiver instead. It's well worth it, and it'll last you longer than 2 candy bars. Put that on the back of the box, ladies and gentlemen. Receiver lasts you longer than 2 candy bars. Thank you guys so much for checking out this indie snapshot of this particularly unique game. I'm really glad I actually checked it out, and I will see you next time.